Welcome to the session, students. So, in a previous sessions, we are seeing control flow. In that, we are already discussed conditional statements and loops. So, in this session, we are going to discuss about the concept functions. Functions in Python. That means how to define a function. What is the purpose of function? So, how to define a function in Python? What is the syntax and all those things we have to discuss. So, let us see. So, here we already know in previous programming languages we have seen what is the need of the function. Okay, so here we have two types of functions we are seeing, built-in functions. So that means we use functions like input, so type, float, int. So we are seeing so many functions in previous examples. So all these type of functions are built-in functions. So we are seeing these type of functions, all are the built-in functions. So, and next one is user-defined functions. User-defined functions are the functions which are defined by ourselves for our needs. We have to define. So before going to discuss that, what is the need of a function? So, for example, if you have a multiple set of statements, we are going to reuse the statements multiple times in a program or in a project. So, we have to specify those multiple statements with some unique name, function name. We call that as a function. For example, if you take a function, so in that I am going to write multiple statements. Those multiple statements are going to be, whenever you are going to repeat those statements, you simply call that function. So then automatically those statements are going to be executed. Those statements are nothing but user-defined functions. So basically we use both user-defined functions and built-in functions in Python programming. So by importing the packages, we are going to take built-in functions. So you are going to define your own program with your own function names. So let us see. So this is the definition we have in Python. Function is some reusable code that takes arguments as inputs, does some computation and then returns some results. So it will take some input and return some output, a function. So that is the main definition, and also we define a function using the def reserved word. So def is a keyword. Def is a keyword used to define a function. So in previous programming languages we have seen, if you want to define a function, initially you have to start with the data type. After that, function name and parentheses and all those things. So here, if you want to define a function, you must have a keyword called def. Def is used to define a function. Okay, so after def, you are going to write the function name and all those things. So we will see next examples. So def is a reserved for defining a function, define that point. So we invoke the function by using the function name. So generally we are going to call a function with the function name what you are going to define. So for example, add is a function. So you are define the add function, so and write the procedure for that. So if whenever you want that add function, you simply call add. Okay, so this is the basic thing in functions. So let us see this example. First, I am going to define a function. Let us see the syntax. So whenever you want to define a function, first you have keyword def. Def is a keyword used to define a function. After that, you are going to write a function name. I am going to write a function name, something, thing. This function name should end with parentheses and also use the indentation mark. If you give indentation mark, it's go with a tab space and define your function here. Whatever the function you want, that's going to be defined here. Okay, so let us see with small example. So def, so you're going to write thing here, def thing and print something. I wrote statements print something. Okay, so here we are going to print hello. Here we are going to print hello statement. So let us see here what happened when I use this function thing is going to be print hello. Thing is going to be print hello. So next I'm going to print the next statement. So it's going to be print all the print statements. Whenever you want thing, you simply call with the name. You simply call with the name. Okay. So this is the basic structure of the function. So you have to remind a point. First you have def. After def, function name, parentheses, and indentation mark. Whenever you place indentation mark, it automatically gives a tab space. So in that you are going to elevate the function. Okay, so this is a reusable code we already discussed. So how we are going to build a new own function? We'll create a new function using a def keyword, next followed by operational parentheses. So parameters in parentheses. You are going to place a pass the parameters for that function also. So we have the indent. Indent, I said indent is nothing but a symbol we are going to use. Okay. So to define function. So let us see this example. Here I am going to take x equals to 5, variable x equals to 5 and print hello. So I simply write a statement x equals to 5 and print hello. And I am defining a function by using keyword def. After that I wrote a function name print lyrics. Print lyrics and close with a parenthesis and with indentation mark. In that function I wrote a statement print this is Vignan Lara. I just wrote a statement this is Vignan Lara. Next I am going to write a statement print good morning. Print good morning. So here after that I call this function print lyrics. Here I define my function. I define my function. Here I call my function. How can you call your function? You can call your function by using your function name. What is your function name? Print lyrics. So print lyrics by using this function name. If you want to give another function name, you can call with another function name. So print lyrics. So you can call, right? So after that I am writing a statement x equals to x plus 2. I increment this x value and print again x value. Okay. So let us see how can it executes the code. Let us take the first statement. X equals to 5. As initially a variable is created, it contains 5. I am executing step by step. Print hello. Yes, it's going to be print hello in your output. Right. Next, define print lyrics. So for this, some memory is going to be allocated for this function. What is the function name? Print lyric. In that function name, some data is going to be stored. Here observe, I just define a function here. I just define a function here. In that function I have a print statement. At the defining time, it doesn't execute. It's just stored somewhere. So that means it doesn't print this statement now. At the defining situation, it doesn't execute. Okay, it's going to be stored somewhere. Okay, so after that, print good morning. As it prints good morning. In between these two statements, I define my function. I define my function. At the third case, I just use print lyric. At this time, it calls this function. At this time only, it calls this function. So what is the function contains print? This is Vignan Lara. As this is Vignan Lara, it's going to be print. Right? So after that, x equals to x plus 2. What? X contains 5 already. So we are going to increment plus 2. So now it's become 7. So print x. So your next output is 7. So it is missed actually, it is 7. So it's going to be print like that. For example, if I write statement print lyrics again here. So after print x, if I type statement print lyrics here, again it will print this is Vignan Lara. It's going to be print statement like that. Okay. So at the defining time, it's not executes and shown your output. So at the declaring time only, it will execute. So that is the point you have to remind. So that means you have to use this code. That means you have to use this code n number of times. N number of situations you have to use this code. So this is the main usage. That means code reusability is the main motto of functions. So you have to reuse multiple times. So whenever you want this code, you are going to reuse. For example, we have seen, sorting techniques, bubble sort. If you take bubble sort, if you write a function for bubble sort, def bubble sort, def bubble sort. I write my code for that bubble sort. That means this is some operation. This is some sorting. That means increasing order, decreasing order we have. Like that we have a sorting sum. So I define bubble sort one time only. So for the next time, whenever for example, if you want 5 times that bubble sort, you are going to call this function name. It will reuse. Okay. No need to type again and again that bubble sort statements. For example, this bubble sort contains 30 statements. No need to. That means if you want bubble sort 5 times, you are going to repeat these statements 5 times. That means 30 into 5. 150 times you are going to 150. Unnecessarily you are going to type 150 statements. If you have this functions topic, you are going to call these. You are going to call these 30 statements. Instead of calling typing these 30 statements, you simply use this function name. Okay, then the code is going to be reusable. Get my point? So this is the thing we have in functions. So in functions you are going to have one more keyword called arguments. What is an argument? Argument is a value we pass into the function as an input. That means function accepts some input. Yes, functions are going to accept some input. So you are going to pass the arguments. For example, I'm going to define a function. Def, I said you're going to define, if you want to define a function, first keyword is def. I'm writing a function add. In that function I have two parameters. I have a and b. Okay. Next, I said print a plus b. So add function, what add function can do? It simply performs addition of two values, right? So if I call add 3, 5, this is function defining. So this is function declared. So this is defining and this is your declared a function. Next, add 6, 2. So next, add 1, 7. Like this we have. So let us observe. For the first time, I perform addition between 3 and 5. Okay. So it simply call this function. At the place of a it is 3, at the place of b it is 5. Then it performs addition. It returns output as 8. 3 plus 5, 8 it will return. Clear? Next, for the second time, again you want to perform addition. Now your values are not 3 and 5. Now your values are 6 and 2. These are your values. Okay. Now if you want to perform addition between 6 and 2, no need to write the code. You simply add 6, 2. Again, these are going to be passed to this function. Now a is 6, b is 2. Again it performs 6 plus 2. Again your output is 8. Next, again you are going to write 1 and 7 as your input. So 1 and 7 going to be passed to this. 1 plus 7, 8 again. It returns. So that's why an argument is a value we pass to the function as its inputs when you call the function. Whenever you are calling these functions, your passed values, these values we call as arguments. These are the arguments. So this 3 and 5, 6, 2, these are all of the arguments we have passed. So what are the values you have passed as the input? Those we call as a arguments. Okay. So we use arguments so we can direct the function to the different kinds of works when we call it at different times. So we have to pass arguments in difference. So arguments are not common always. So it may change, depends upon your needs. Okay. Next, parameters. So the term parameters, the parameter is a variable which we use in a function definition. At the time of function definition, we use parameters. That means how many parameters you have to define that function. Example, we are going to see. Same example I am going to take def add a comma b print a plus b. Let us observe this part. Here I am taking two parameters. Observe, this is I am taking two variables here. I am taking two values here. These two, we call these two as parameters. So these parameters are not always 2. It may be 3 or 4 or n number. So that means we call these two values, these two terms as parameters. That means how many parameters to that function. For example, I am taking one more function def sum A comma B comma C. Here in this, let us observe these two functions. In this function, how many parameters? For the function addition, our parameters are 2. A and B. For the function sum, parameters are 3. That is A, B and C. So, before utilizing that function, you must have an idea about how many parameters are there and what are the parameters. Either these parameters are integers or string or any data structure or anything. You must have idea regarding that. So these parameters are not always integers. Sometimes it may be a string, character or data structures like a list, array, tuple, anything. Okay, so you can't say this is always int. So it's varies, depends upon the situation. Okay, these are all the parameters you're going to discuss. So let us see with small example. I said function going to be defined with def keyword. After that, function name. Here my function name is college CL. So this is function definition declaration, and this is function name, and this is parameters, what we are discussed, parameters. Next, in that, this is indent, this is indentation mark, and after that you got indentation gap. In that, I simply wrote if CL equals to VU. That means if you pass argument as VU, I said arguments, we are declared, you will define arguments at the function utilization only. We call those are the arguments. So this is a parameter. If CL equals to VU, if you give input as for this function college, if you give input VU, if you give input VU, then if CL equals to VU, then print Vignan University. Print Vignan University. Elif. This is also CL. So please keep it. So this is CL equals to VLITS print Vignan Lara. Else print Vignan Nirula. Let us observe this part. If CL is VU, it prints Vignan University. If CL is VLITS, print Vignan Lara, or anything, you are going to print Vignan Nirula. Right? So let us see the bottom code. College VU. What is VU? VU is a argument. I passed my argument as VU. VU is came here. CL equals to VU. Yes, it is true. It prints Vignan University. So your output is, for this our output is Vignan University. It's going to be print. Next, college. I passed argument as VLITS now. I passed argument as VLITS now. CL is VLITS. Here argument is VLITS. First it checks CL equals to VU. No, it is false. Your CL is VLITS. Now it's going to be print Vignan Lara. Next, for the third time, college equals to VU. Again it is VU. So, if CL equals to VU, yes, it is true. Okay, it prints again Vignan University. Vignan University. That means this CL is equals to, so let us so this CL reflects this argument. This CL reflects its argument, whether it is VU, VLI, TS, anything. Okay. So at the place of CU, memory is created for CL. For the first iteration, it stores VU. For the second iteration, and again created, it contains VLI, TS. So for the, that means how many times you declared that function, that many memory locations are going to be created. Okay, this point is going to define. Return. I said every function should return some value. It may return some output. For example, if you perform add function, it returns the addition. If you perform subtraction, it returns the subtracted value. And after that, if you perform any increasing order, it takes input as disordered data and retrieves your output as increasing order. Okay, like that every function. So often a function will take its argument and do some computation. It will do some computation and returns a value. It returns something value. So you are going to return something value by using a keyword return. Return is a keyword used to return some value. Keep this point. Okay, so let us see. Here I am going to take a same example. Here I use return. What it returns? It returns this value as your output. It returns this value as your output. So that means that function is going to be return some value. So you are going to here at this time you are going to write print college of VU. You are going to write statement like this. So and then only it prints Vignan University. That means it's not print, it returns the value. So it doesn't print anything. Here in a previous example you write print. At that situation it prints some value. Here it returns value but not prints. So here you are going to write the statement print before going to declare if you have a return statement in that function. Okay. So let us summarize this. So first, in this session, we have discussed what is the purpose of a function, and next, how to define a function. What is the keyword? Diff keyword is used to define a function. After that, the function name, parentheses, and indentation mark. After that, we have discussed the concept called parameters. What is a parameter? Okay, that means the variables we are used in that function definition. Okay, that is the parameter. Next, we are discussing about the arguments. What is the argument? Arguments is the values we are passed at the time of function declaration. Okay. Next, we are discussing about return statement. What is a return statement? So these are all of the things we are discussed in these concepts. Thank you.